Hello and welcome to another video on the Life After Brady channel. Today we take a look at the first trade of the Brad Stevens era when he trades All-Star Kemba Walker to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Al Horford. So quickly, Brad Stevens goes from Coach Brad Stevens to President Brad Stevens to Trader Brad Stevens. Danny Ainge made his bread and butter trading. Not afraid to move on from guys when it was time, whether it was Antoine Walker, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Isaiah Thomas, and Brad Stevens picks right up where Danny left off. The former All-Star point guards traded with the number 16th overall pick in the 2021 draft to the OKC for Al Horford, cap filler in Moses Brown, and then a 2023 second-round pick. Not sure the protections on either of those second-round picks. The Celtics do this to do a couple things. They open up $9 million of cap space roughly this year, and then close to $23 million the following year, with Horford's deal about $40 million and Kemba's about $73 million. They both have knee issues, so you're not exactly trading for what Al Horford can do, so much that his salary is just much more manageable than Kemba is at this point. Whether this was mutual or not, it's a good question. The last couple of weeks, we'd heard a couple of things that Kemba wanted out. The fit wasn't great for him. Didn't love playing next to Tatum and Brown. And to me, follows what Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony have done. They're a little older than he is, but the wear on the body might be the same of, it just wasn't working out. Let me reset myself. Let me go to OKC. Take the time I need to rest up. How much does he play in 21, 22? We're not sure. And then as he's an expiring deal the following year, either moves on to another team through OKC or, plays out his 2 years in OKC and then resets, his market in 2 years as a nice, starting point guard or, potentially backup point guard for a title contending team is what I think Kemba's looking at. For the Celtics, just, it wasn't working. They really took a step back on defense this year for a lot of reasons. I think part of it has to be Kemba. He's just too small to be effective on that end of the floor. And offensively, it was a great from three-point land, great spot-up shooter, but the pick and roll just wasn't there for him as much in the isolations. Couldn't be as effective as he was younger in his career with more athleticism. So it was time to move on for him and for the Celtics. I love it from the first-round pick perspective of, get rid of the first-round pick. To me, Ainge was too afraid to get rid of these picks. Was waiting for the perfect trade to come around. What can I do? Maybe I'm going to hit. Maybe I hit on Donovan Mitchell, Giannis, something like that. And it just didn't happen. So the Celtics aren't going to contend next year. They're too many players away. So get rid of this pick. Get out of the Kemba salary. Move on from it. I also like it of, so much as what happened to Danny Ainge in the end is, he only had so many moves left to make. So he was measured by those first-round picks, and it's hard. Those guys don't hit a lot. Now, the Celtics guys never hit, which was a problem, but this allows, hey, we don't have to see Brad Stevens' draft resume for at least another year. Let him get more comfortable in that role. Let him get the people around him that he wants and needs, and do his full scouting, and then he can maybe start swinging a little bit. This kind of gives him a year to reset and see what he really needs. From here, though, I think Marcus Smart's the next trade. If you're moving on from Kemba, I think you're also saying that probably Marcus Smart isn't the guy that you want on this roster, going into, I think, his expiring next year. I think it's time to move on from him as well, see what you can get. He's going to want, bigger and better salary. I don't think the Celtics are ready to do that. Clearly, it's not fitting in Boston anymore, so I think it's time to move on from him, reset, and come out 22, 23 with Jaylen, Jayson, and whatever else you can assemble, and hopefully a much better cap situation than you are right now. So that's where the Celtics are. June 18th, still the draft ahead of them and the offseason, whatever trades, free agent signings they'll make. But they have made the biggest move so far, trading Kemba Walker to the Oklahoma City Thunder.